This is EB3, speaking the truth in love, and I just come on for a few minutes to give you guys a word of encouragement. If you like this video and want more content like it, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share. Sometimes in life, you have to just take a minute, almost a minute of silence, and just breathe. Release the stress, release the anger, release all the frustrations that's going on around you, right? The Bible speaks of it like this, that we should be slow to speak, slow to anger, and quick to listen. Oftentimes in our relationships with our family, with our friends, with our coworkers, with, the person at the grocery store, the person is on the phone when you're trying to pay your bill. Oh, how frustrating it can be. Just whenever you have conflict, the biggest problem a lot of time is communication, a lack of understanding between the two people that's communicating. And I want you to think about, because I've been thinking about this a lot, because there's some people in my life that it's like they got something on the inside of them that aggravates something on the inside of me, right? It's like I can be just fine all day, and I run into this one particular person, and they can say something that triggers something. Now, because I've learned to be slow to speak, be slow to anger, be slow to wrath, and be quick to listen, I've gotten better. Still working on it, but I've gotten better. I don't say the negative things that I would have said, say, 5 years ago. And certainly not what I would have said 20 years ago. So I think sometimes as Christians, we can either give ourselves too much grace or not give ourselves enough grace. And we have to find balance in that. But we have to find ourselves as people of God being compassionate toward others, because we have something that they need. We really have something that the world needs. And if we preach love, 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 but show anger, hate, discontent amongst each other and amongst everybody else in our day-to-day life, then we have to go back and examine ourselves. And whatever we find, we have to be honest in that examination. And whatever we find that's not like the Lord, then we need to repent. And then go back to trying to be slow to speak, quick to listen, slow to wrath, slow to anger. One of the greatest things to have in life is self-control. Because in order to be those things that I just mentioned, you got to have self-control. And self-control, it shows up in different type of ways, right? You got to have self-control in your eating. You got to have self-control in your thoughts. Thoughts can come to your mind, but you got to control them. You got to have self-control in your spending. You got to have self-control in having, when I say spending, you got to have self-control in having some type of budget, some type of boundaries in every part of your life. You have to have self-control when you're dealing with your children, because they're going to make choices that you don't like as they grow older. But you still got to have self-control, because you got to be able to, in order to do what I say, You know, my intro and my outro is always, this is EB3 speaking the truth in love, right? But in order to speak the truth in love, you've got to have self-control. Because you can be right and you can be telling the truth, but if you do it in an anger, bitter, self-righteous way, nobody's ever going to listen to your truth. And it shouldn't be our truth, but it should be the truth. If we have just our truth, then we're just like the world, because the world has their truth. Everybody have their truth. But what about the truth? And so, again, we got to learn how to walk in self-control. And basically, that's part of the fruit of the Spirit. So once we learn how to do that, then we set our boundaries. See, some people don't like boundaries, but boundaries are good for us. Boundaries say, hey, once I cross this line, I know I've gone too far, and I need to reel myself back in. You got to have boundaries. A person who is boundless doesn't have any discipline. And if you don't have any discipline, you're not going to have any self-control. And if you don't have any self-control, you're going to have a lot of chaos in your life, because you will say any and everything that comes to your mind. You will do whatever you feel like you want to do. And you would blame everybody else except for the main person. You blame God, you blame the devil, you blame your mama, you blame your daddy, you blame anybody that's around you, except for the person that you look at every day when you go look in the mirror. So we have to hold ourselves accountable for the things that we do, the things that we say. And that's why we have to really find ourselves being in the Word, seeking God, and just walking in truth, but walking in love. And walking in discipline. Discipline is not a bad word. Boundaries, that's not a bad word. It can be a matter of life and death, because life and death is in the tongue. Anyway, this has been EB3 speaking the truth in love. If you got anything out of this video, drop a comment, let me know. If there's anything you would like for me to talk about, sometimes I just talk, and sometimes I talk about specific things. But at any rate, this has been EB3 speaking the truth in love. If you like this video and you want more content like it, like, subscribe, drop a comment, and share. Be blessed, be a blessing, walk in self-control and discipline. I am out.